What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90, and it is finally here, the World Cup 2022. Today in this video, I'm going to be going through all of the Matchday 1 fixtures. There's tons of them, and I've also got a free little 6-fold accumulator for you all at the end that I myself will be backing as well. One of the perks of being a member of the channel is you get a shout out in these videos, as well as the exclusive member tips and accumulators, and we've come off of some massive winners. One of the members, Sequan Code, says they made $4,000 from my Sunday picks, and I'll show you the winning picks now. All from 3 $10 bets, so they definitely feel like they've made their membership back. So since I last spoke to you, these are the winning accumulators we had. A both teams to score an over 2.5 goals treble, 7.15. I'm not going to go through each individual pick because there's a lot of them. The Serie A double, 2.88. Friday goals treble, 4.86. The North London Comforts double, 2.59. The European treble in the Italian, German, and French games. A half-time, full-time double with Benfica and Feyenoord. A four-fold that I actually commented back to a member who asked for my opinion on their picks. I had Genk, draw no bet, Juventus, draw no bet, Pauk and Benfica and over 2.5 goals. We had the Alt League treble. The Besiktas game was postponed, so the other two came in. Look at that, 5-1. Crazy predictions. Both teams to score treble for those games, 4.87. Result and both teams to score double at 12.6 for AC Milan and Man United. And the home comforts fourfold, Juventus, AC Milan, Freiburg, and Benfica, and over 2.5 goals at 10.16. I also did give out a double that was so close. It was Man United to beat Fulham 2-1 and Juventus to win 1 or 2-0. And then Juventus scored a 90th minute third goal to make it 3-0. That was very, very close. So if you want to get exclusive members tips and ACCAs, then feel free to click the join button down below. You'll also get a shout out in these videos. Like all these members here, we have Ken Askeza, Janster Larson, Nashi, Skate P, Keelio James, Ben Crossland, Mark Finity, Dr. Camilla. There's a bit of a mix-up with some of the names, but we also have King MLK, Nana Debonair, Blue Bella, Agash Thangaraja, J.A., Tauron Lee, Goji Bushi, and Sansa. Noah 1994, Himal Gaushan, Emmanuel Thutang, Jinwoo Oak, Regulon back again, Aryan Kumar, John Espan Rod, and Marteja Poredos. So if you want to join, get a shout out in these videos and get the exclusive tips throughout the World Cup and club football, of course, then be sure to click the join button down below or the link in the description. So on this tab here, I do have a 6-fold accumulator that comes in at odds of 12.06 that I'll share with you at the end of this video. We're going to smash through the games. I haven't got tips for every single game. There's so many of them. Obviously, members can get different tips for different games. They just have to ask me and we can have a chat. That's another member perk, chatting with me in the comments. But I've got the 6 tips for the accumulator and another one for this game, just because I think the odds are crazy. Opening fixture, Qatar and Ecuador. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Ecuador. I know Qatar are the host nation. They're going to have the whole crowd behind them. But when it comes to how they stack up against the opposition, even with a team like Ecuador, they just don't stack up. And I think Ecuador are actually going to sneak this one. It should be low scoring, in my opinion. I think a lot of these World Cup games are going to be quite low scoring, but I've selected a fair few goals considering that fact. But I'm going to go for the 1-0 win to Ecuador and just a single. Ecuador to win, 2.4. I just think those odds are crazy when Ecuador are levels above Qatar. I know Qatar have had their little boot camp for the last month. They've been playing friendlies. They've been winning those friendlies, but they are against opposition that are considerably weaker than Ecuador. And I think Ecuador are just going to get a win here. If they want to qualify out of this group with Senegal and Netherlands, they need to beat Qatar. A lot of groups have a team where if you don't beat them, chances are you're probably not going to qualify. And if Ecuador want to push Senegal and the Netherlands all the way, they need to beat Qatar, because I expect Senegal and Netherlands to do the same. So this is Qatar's only chance, in my opinion, to get some points on the board. But similarly, it's Ecuador's main chance to really try and qualify. So I'm going for a 1-0 win to Ecuador. England versus Iran. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I mean, this is a tip on the fly. I suppose England win to 0 could be a good tip. I think what the main thing is about the group stage, it's not necessarily all about goals. You just need to get the result. And Iran are pretty strong defensively. They might take a little while to be broken down. It could even be 0-0 at half time. I think it's going to be 1-0 halftime, 2-0 full-time. So feel free to clip that if you want. But I think England should win this convincingly enough. But it doesn't need to be 8-0. England just need the 3 points, need to make sure they get out the group, because obviously everyone's expecting them to cakewalk it. But it's not as easy a group as it looks. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to England. Senegal, Netherlands, this is a really difficult one. I don't think Sadio Mane will be fit for this game. He has travelled with Senegal, but obviously still nursing the injuries. They expect that he will essentially be back in time for the knockout stages, should they make it. So Senegal will obviously be hoping Ecuador drop points to Qatar. I'm just going to shade it to the Netherlands. I think Senegal are a great team. I think I predicted them to win AFCON during the AFCON video prediction series we had on this channel last year. It's going to be a close game. I'm just going to shade it to Netherlands. I think Mane's absence is pretty big. USA and Wales, this is a very difficult one to predict. You could argue this could be seen as the group decider. And just like the odds, I can't split them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Wales... it's a weird one. Wales should be better on paper, but USA, they've got a decent team and they're going to put up a fight in this group. And I'm not sure which way it's going to go. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. This one's much easier, and I am going to go for goals. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, 4-0 to Argentina. And here comes my first of the 6 tips for the six-fold. Argentina -1 handicap. I have 2 -1 handicaps included in this six-fold. You could, if you prefer the odds, you could substitute it for win to nil. It's better odds, and it also allows for the 1-0. But of course, if Saudi Arabia, for example, scores, and Argentina still get 4, win to nil doesn't come in, -1 handicap does. I think Argentina are looking on fire. I would love for them to win the whole tournament. I'm going for a 4-0 win to Argentina. Denmark, Tunisia. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Denmark. I think Denmark are just a level above Tunisia. Whilst I do respect Tunisia. For example, I've seen some people put Australia ahead of Tunisia in the group. I don't think that's the case. I think Australia are going to finish rock bottom. I do think Tunisia are decent, but Denmark are just better. Denmark are actually one of the most underrated sides in the World Cup, I think. They sort of a dark horse for me. I'm going to go 2-0. In fact, I'd say it's more likely that Denmark top the group ahead of France than any other sort of upset, because my order in the members-only video, where I did my world prediction bracket, was France, Denmark, Tunisia, Australia. I think the most likely difference in that prediction would be actually Denmark topping France. I think they're that good. So second tip for the six-fold is Denmark to win at 1.45. I think that's very, very good value. After this, it's Mexico, Poland. Again, another one. In my bracket prediction, I think I gave it to Mexico to qualify in second and Poland to come into third. So basically to end up in alphabetical order like it is there. I just don't know where the difference is going to come from. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I really, really rate Mexico. And Poland aren't quite the team they used to be, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw there. France, Australia, much like Argentina, Saudi Arabia, I'm going to go 4-0. And there's my third tip for the six-fold, is France on a -1 handicap at 1.72. So like I said, you could have Argentina and France win to nil, but if Australia, the Socceroos, or Saudi Arabia do score a goal, then that bet is immediately out the window. So at the moment, it's Argentina -1, Denmark to win, and France -1. Moving on, we have Morocco, Croatia. This one's going to be a very, very close one. I couldn't separate them. I'm just going to shade it to experience. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Croatia. I know he's getting on a bit, but they still have Luka Modric, who I think is a phenomenal player. I mean, other than Benzema, who won it recently, is one of the only players that isn't Ronaldo or Messi to actually win the Ballon d'Or, and that was pretty much strictly for his efforts in the last World Cup. So he's a big game player, and I think they're going to be able to get off to the start with a win. Doesn't quite make sense. Off to a start with a win. Something like that. I think Croatia can beat Morocco here. After that is Germany up against Japan. I'm going to say 2-0. By all means, no disrespect to Japan. I think they are a really, really good team. I really, really do. It's unfortunate that they're in a group with Spain and Germany, because I think any other group, like, for example, if you put Japan instead of Tunisia, I think Japan could surprise people and qualify from that group. If you put Japan instead of Poland or Mexico, I think they could qualify from that group. If you put Japan instead of one of these three, I think they could qualify from that group. If you put Japan instead of Ecuador, I think they could qualify from that group. It's just a shame that they're in a group with Spain and Germany. By all means, I want to stress this. No disrespect to Japan, but I just think that Germany are going to be able to get this win. It's very important that they do beat Japan because of their game with Spain, of course. So I'm going for a 2-0 win to Germany, and then my fourth tip for the six-fold is Germany to win. It's a nice little addition there. Spain, Costa Rica after that. Should be an easy win for Spain. I'm just going to go 2-0. It doesn't need to be mental. I'm going for another 2-0, and there's no real value to be had in a 2-0 Spain win. Maybe Spain win to nil. Maybe Spain -1. Something along those lines could be something to look at. After this, it's Belgium up against Canada. I think this is going to be a close game. Belgium should win. I think you could go Belgium win and both teams to score. I'm going for a 2-0, but it's just a little bit difficult relying on multiple goals in your favour like that, especially in the World Cup, especially for the first game of the group stages where the result is paramount. Goals don't really matter as far as teams concerned if they get the win. But I am going to go for a win for Belgium, and my fifth tip for the six-fold is Belgium to win at these odds right here. I think Canada are a little bit of a surprise. I think they could do well. But again, Canada just have a difficult group. They've got Morocco, who are really good, Belgium, who are really good, and Croatia, who are really good. So it's sort of like a Japanese situation. Canada, they've got a really tough group, and I'm going for a Belgium win. Switzerland, Cameroon. This is going to be a tough one. I do really rate Cameroon. I'm going for a 1-0 win to Switzerland. I was tempted to go for a draw, but I'm just going to shade it to Switzerland, really. I don't know. I think Cameroon could beat Serbia, for example. I think Cameroon could surprise some people, but looking at this fixture individually, I think Switzerland are a really good team, so I'm going for a 1-0 win there. Uruguay, South Korea. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I know Uruguay are the favourites, and I know on paper Uruguay are a better team, but I think South Korea are also a really good team. Very similar to the likes of Japan, in fact, both from Asia, of course. I think they're a little bit underrated in that sense. Because they're from Asia, I think people underrate them, but I think South Korea are a good team. Uruguay could win this. Uruguay should win this. Maybe I changed my result. I'm going to go 2-1 Uruguay. I do think South Korea are a really good team. No, you know what? Let's go 1-1. I'll try and get a differential. If Uruguay win, it is what it is. Portugal, Ghana. I think Portugal are going to win. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be 1-0. Probably a second half goal. I'd look at the unders on that game, but I think Portugal are going to win. And then the final game, Brazil up against Serbia. I'm going to go for a straightforward 2-0 win to Brazil, and that is the 6th and final leg of my sixfold for the accumulator. So those are all my predictions, and here is my sixfold for you. Argentina and France -1, then Denmark, Germany, Belgium, and Brazil, all favourites to win their games, odds of 12.06. So if you chucked 100 on it, 1,206.49 return. So there we go. Those are my picks for the first match day of the World Cup. The next video will, of course, be the match day 2 fixtures. I'll probably have to upload and make that before all of these fixtures are over, which is a pain, but in order to get the video out, I will have to make those sort of sacrifices. Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any videos. We're getting very close to 23,000. That is going to do it from me, and I will see you in the next video very soon.